Oh my God, I can't believe this. So, can you tell me what is the next question going to be from my side?
Next day, she called me back and she said, in last 9 days, this was the first night I could sleep, and it's all because of you. And I could tell how she died, which year she died,
Oh,
what were her major desires, those kind of stuff. The moment you bow down your head in front of God just for 2 seconds, you are actually in the present.
welcome, Divya, to our podcast today.
Thank you, Manjari.
So, Divya is a psychic healer, a tarot reader, and also a software engineer and lives in London. So Divya, this two diverse field, like being a software engineer and a psychic healer, how do you balance both of it?
So it's just like I use my intuition everywhere, even in my practical life as well. So there is nothing to. It doesn't make me. It's a parallel thing, two sides of a same coin. It goes together. It's just which one you want to pick at the specific time, and that time, intuition helps me to pick the right thing.
Okay. So, can you please explain what being a psychic means and how you discovered your abilities? How did you know that you are a psychic?
So psychic is most like, I think if all of us have got this ability, and it is most like knowing your inner thing. Okay. And there are many different ways to know your inner knowledge. One of could be, just you have an idea, self-knowing, or when you meditate, that's another form of knowing, self-knowing. Your smell, sometimes you have got visuals. So, and all of us have all these ability. It's just we start analyzing it. And when you start making it like a maths, 2 plus 2 is a 4. No, it's not. It could be 44, it could be 88, it could be nothing. Okay, so you need to follow your intuition. Is is that the baseline of being psychic? Yeah. So
Okay. So do I also have psychic powers in that case?
everyone, yes, we use it. We use it as a child, if you see. We use it a lot. How do I discovered, that I have psychic power? To be honest, I always knew. I always used to use it for myself. Even as a child, I used to tell my parents, like, if a specific person is this not good for you, or even for me, my friends, I choose them on basis on a vibe, or the feeling I get for them. It's not,
Okay.
it is never dependent on, scenario or something like that. It's always dependent on how you feel with someone. So I always used it in my life. But then several things happened in my life, which made me kind of forced me to look into this directions. There were magical things actually. For example, I started seeing number quite frequently.
Oh,
I started seeing that things are going to happen in next 1 or 2 minutes. What you are going to ask me, what I'm going to say, all those stuff was started happening to me. I'll just close my eyes, and then someone will flash in a specific, attire, and when I'll go to the office, I'll see that person in the same attire. So it was like a kind of, sign of universe that you have this, so use it. So yeah, this is how I did more research on it. And
so can you tell me what is the next question going to be from my side? Because I have it in my mind.
maybe is there any specific situation that made you do this, or made you make you feel what it is?
Oh my God, I can't believe this. You really are a psychic. Yes. Now the question has already been asked. Now, yes, answer.
So in my life there were many different, turning points where I have kind of see that I have this, then okay, I have this. So I started playing game with this. So for example, um, one odd day, my daughter, she came up with some stones, so some, crystals. And I was the only one who can feel the vibration of the crystal. I gave it to everyone around me and they couldn't feel it. So I did then it was like, why it's me? So I started doing more research on inner energy, trying to understand it, what it is all about. And because I've been in Indian culture in a family where uh, I've been, grown up and nurtured the way where we respect all these things. Like my grandmom, she was healer. My dad is a face reader, and we call him Kali Zaban. Whenever he says something, that comes true. So it's always been part of my life, growing up life, growth. So it wasn't difficult for me to understand all these things. The only difficulty was to bring it in my practical life, in my normal life. Um, so there were turning points where first I kind of realized it's there, then acknowledged it's there, then thought, okay, let's carry on with this. So yeah.
Okay. And if someone wants to, as you say, that it is the intuition which we already have, but it is only about being present to it. Yeah. So can you give some tips and tricks how to realize that and how to develop that or to be present with that? Because I'm sure none of us believe that we can see the future and we are psychic. So to recognize that, to feel that, what are the tips and tricks that we can like follow or do?
So simplest thing is, go back to old ways of living. Okay. So kind of, I remember when I was kid, I was always being asked before leaving house, just bow down your head in front of God. The moment you bow down your head in front of God just for 2 seconds, you are actually in the present. And when you practice it every day, it becomes, part of your life. And as you grow, you gradually increase the time. So as a child, when you're 5 years old, you'll do it for 2 seconds. When you're 15 years old, you might do it for 2 minutes, right? So there are very, very, very little and small things. You don't have to meditate or something like that in your daily life. You just need to understand what is your head, what is your fear, and where your thought is coming from, and how do you feel about it. So, for example, if you have done some, if you are thinking of doing something, and it has got lots of conflict in your head, I don't know how it's going to go, I don't know what's going to happen, just drop off your head and feel. What do you feel about it? Probably you will feel nothing. When you feel nothing, that means you are on the right path. And sometimes what happens when you see something and you're so excited for this, oh, this is something I want, this is how things will go, and wow, and you start daydreaming. Then you stop your brain and feel again. If you don't feel anything, it's just blank, that means you need to pause on it. When there is fear in your head but your heart is calm, that means you're on right path. When there is aggression or any kind of excitement is there in your heart, but it's not in your brain, then again you are at the right.
Okay. So, what I understand, being in the present and also being present to the body sensation, because body never lies, and it the brain can think here and there, but body will only feel and will never lie. Body knows everything, we know very little.
Yeah, but then it gets very difficult for you to understand what your body is saying if you do not calm your mind. So the trick is, it's very easy to say being in present, but being in present how? It's very difficult to be in present. Okay, like we are talking right now. Now you will think about the next question. You are not focusing on my answer, you're focusing on the next question. Right? And that's how it goes, because you have to ask next question. You have to think about next question. But if you will focus on my sentences, you will find your next question just by being in the present.
Okay, I'll practice that. I'll practice that. Yeah. Okay. And so, any quick ways of knowing how to, any quick ways of bringing the mind, calming the mind, and bringing it to the present?
The breathing exercise are very good. The first thing that I do to calm myself is close my eyes and just slow down my breathing. That's it. It's or if I'm very stressed, then there is a kind of releasing it like
Okay.
like this. It's kind of releasing it immediately. And calming yourself down is so you hold your breath and then slowly and try to breathe from the belly. So in that way you'll come in the present. And the more this is something which you can do with the body. The materialistic way is to be in the present is look around what is there around, if there is a child around you, play with the child the way the child wants you to play. Not you do not interfere the way you want to, don't start teaching them. So this is again those who are kind of mothers who spend time at work and do all the stuffs at home, and then they have child also. What we start doing, uh, even if we are sitting with the child, we will either try to teach them something or we will, try to correct them on things. Don't do that.
Okay.
Let
Just
them just
be in
being
the flow.
5 minutes, 10 minutes, a half an hour being themselves. It doesn't. It's not going to harm. So be like them. That will, in one way, improve them. Give them confidence. Another way, you are going to be in present. So unconsciously you are actually practicing being in present, which will help you to feel your intuition.
So quality of our breath is quality of our life, and we just be in a float and just take things as it come and not always
Yeah,
correcting. No, this can be better. This can be better. Yeah.
yeah. I mean, yes, as much as you can control your breath, your breathing. So it happens like when you get very excited, your breathing change. When you
Yes.
feel low, your breathing change. So if you have control on your breathing, you will have control on most of your situations in your life.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So many sports person, they practice this breath change to change their performance. That's what I have heard as well.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah, if you want to change your quality of your life, so just change your breath pattern. Yeah,
Depends which one suits you. So,
yeah.
like, there are different kind of breathing exercises. If you're emotionally low, you do moon ones. So, breathing, closing right side of your nostril and breathing from the left side of your nostril. If you're feeling low, depressed, no excitement in the life, then you have to do the sun one, which is, activating the right side of the part. So, closing left side of the nostril and breathing from the right side. So these are very small exercises which you can do anytime, anywhere. It doesn't harm you unless you feel like, oh, I'm in the office, I can't do that. So that's something wrong with you. You should come over it. No, I need it right now because I'm feeling low. So, sun breathing will help me. So let's do that.
Okay. Now I have also heard about mediums. Now, what's the difference between a psychic and a medium, or they are the same?
Um, so actually, it's like medium is a psychic and you cannot be a medium without a psychic without because first let me explain what a medium is. Medium is someone who talks to the spirit, and the spirit can be anyone. It can be your past one and it can be your, you say people, you might have heard people say spirit guide, bhagwan, god, whosoever you believe in. It's basically the higher energy who is there with you, who and it could be your inner self also, right? uh, so you talk to them and how it helps in my clients. They help it like most of the people, they come like, they have some, they still attached to the people who are not there in life, in their life anymore. So when you do the mediumship, go back into their life, tell them something which they either do not accept or, they are not realizing. It helps them to, you know, to know the reality and to accept the reality. For example, I've got one client, she came, and it's amazing thing, very different experience I've got. Um, so she came to me. She said, "I lost my sister, and it's in me since then, and I don't know how to come out of it." And I started mediumship, and I could tell how she died, which year she died,
Oh,
what were her major desires, those kind of stuff. And after the whole session, the lady sitting in front of me was kind of, she just hugged me very strongly and she said, "Thank you very much." Uh, so yeah, it changed, people thinking, thought process, and which most of the time it makes you accept the situation and let you move on or let go the past. Sorry, your question was difference between
medium and
and
psychic.
psychic. So there is no difference. Psychic is a base of medium. A medium is an advanced form of a psychic.
Okay, so okay, okay, got it. So, have you experienced any skepticism or doubt from people around you, or general public, or even your people who come to you? Did you see any doubt or skepticism in your experience being in this field?
Yeah, yeah, many people, some of them are, they are really very, kind of clear and on my face. Like, I do not believe on this, but it feels like there is no way around, and I just want to try it. So recently, last week, I got someone, and he came and he just said this, and we sat together like 1 hour, and next day he called me up. Oh, I have got or few more questions. Can I have time tonight? So yes, when you sometimes you need this. It's a human. We are human. We work with our brain. So and we do not trust. We don't see. That's why we question God many times. So yeah, when you feel it, you trust it. So I get so many people. Sometimes it happens like you said this, what do you mean by this? So I have to explain them what I meant by it. Or sometimes it comes up like, you said this, but it did not happen. So I have to explain them why it did not happen or why it's not happening and what's the scenario. It varies, from person to person. But yes, there are questions like if it's true or not. I'm not sure. What are you saying? um, this doesn't go the way you are saying. But then when people talk, you have way to, explain and express things, and they understand.
Okay. So, can you share some memorable experiences or readings that had a significant impact on you or your clients?
Touch wood, I am blessed. Most of my clients, all of my clients, I can say, they have a positive impact of my reading on their life. But like I said earlier, that there were certain things in my life which made me move forward in this field, towards these stuff. Um, there are few of them. I usually do not remember my readings at all,
Okay.
but there are some which I do remember. So, for example, like I said, the crystal event. So that made me realize there is something. And there are certain other events as well. But then I was keeping it to myself. I was doing reading psychically or using tarot cards for my friends, family, friends, and friends, all those stuff, just word and mouth spread kind of stuff. I wasn't fully into the market available for everyone. It wasn't like that. And I wasn't ready for it. I wasn't planning for it. um, there was no vision of these. It was just whosoever wants will come to me whenever God or universe will make them to come to me. It was like that. But then I met a lady. She lost her mom, and one of my ex-colleague, she said, "You talk to her." And I was like, "This is a very critical situation. I don't even know that person." And by nature, I'm a very straightforward person, so I do not polish things and talk in that way. So I didn't know how to talk to someone who just recently lost mom, and I do not know personally. So I was kind of, backing off. But she said, "No, you just talk to her." I was like, "Okay." I thought it will go for 2, 3 minutes and things will be okay. Then we did had a call like 3, 4 hours. And next day she called me back and she said, in last 9 days, this was the first night I could sleep, and it's all because of you. And that changed my, thought process. Like, if I can make this much difference in somebody's life, should I be keeping it to myself? So then I came out. Similarly, there was some incident about the mediumship also. It because as an Indian, you do not believe in mediumship and all those stuff, right? It's called like it's not the way I'm we society is like, okay, or I'm brought up like it's andhvishwas, it's just unbelievable things, all those kind of stuff is there. But something happened, and I could actually channel somebody's mother, and I could see the mother. I knew the favorite color. I knew the words that they shared together as the memories they shared together, which nobody knew apart from those two. And it all of a sudden it came in a reading, and I could feel the sensation in my body. I could feel the exhaustion after the reading. I did sleep like 4 days after that. So then I realized there is something which I can do, which is mediumship ability is in me also.
Okay. And how do you ensure that the messages you receive are accurate and trustworthy?
It's all about the trust. You do not ensure whether God is there or not. You
Oh,
trust it. So I do not ensure. It's more like the way like I do reading um is I open like if you have a specific question, maybe regarding your career. So I will try to see the current of your career situation. I'll talk to you, and touch wood, it never went wrong until now. I mean, I hope it will never goes wrong also. So the person connects to this current situation, then it gets easy to, trust on the whatever you're going to say. So it's trust for me as well. Like, yes, I did say the right thing. I can understand the past and present, so I will be right for the future also. And it is trust for the person sitting in front of you also. So that's how I do it.
and I've also heard about spirit guides. So, what role does spirit guides play in your readings? And can you just explain what they are?
So it's mostly a Western concept, and I do not disagree with it, but it's not been clearly explained anywhere. What I personally feel is, like we say in our culture, God shows you the way, right? What you feel inside is your God. God is inside you. So it's more like that. Um, But then there are different forms of spirit guide. It's more like the different forms of gods you have got in Sanatan Dharma. Similarly, they have got different forms of spirit guide. So having a spirit guide is a Western concept. It is not Indian concept. It's not there. There is no spirit guide kind of stuff over there. We have Devtas, we have Bhagwan, we have all the stuff who help you in different part of your life. Um, to me, my spirit guide is Hanumanji, right? So When I do reading, I do not do anything. I let him do everything, if that makes sense. It's
Yeah.
like this. It's like, let please help me to help this person, and I'll just carry on.
And how do you deal with receiving negative or difficult information during a reading? How do you?
Yeah, it is. It's hard, and the hardest part is to how to put it in front of someone. That's the hardest part. And what I'm going to say now, it's going to help everyone actually, whosoever is listening, is how to put a negative thing in a positive way. Is sometimes what happen, we say this is the problem. We go to mom, we go to manager, we go to anyone in this, friends, anyone. This is the problem you have. This is the problem I'm facing. What? Then what? So it's better to say, think, this is the problem, how to solve it. So when I have to put the negative situation in front of anyone, first thing I see how I can deal with the negative situation. So I say that this is you should be doing to avoid this, rather than saying this is negative is coming your way.
And can you give a real life example of this where you really faced and such a situation, and how did you communicate to your client?
Uh, this yes, I can. I can give you example in many different ways actually. So it's another different, very unique experience. So one day, usually people take appointment and then they call, they take appointment and then they visit home. But then that day somebody just randomly knocked and I was in my office hours. I was on a call. My husband opened the door. He wasn't sure. I mean, usually when I have a meeting or appointment, I do tell everyone in the house, so that it's not a surprise for anyone. And I do not take any reading during my office hours also. So she just knocked. She came in. He did not say anything. He didn't say no to her. He said, "You wait. I'll call her." So after the call, I just spoke to her, and she said, "I don't know. I just felt like," and she had a mobile open, over there, and she was like, "I just felt like to coming to you, and I came to you." She came to me from 50 kilometers apart. She took bus. She walked. It took her almost 1 hour to reach here. She didn't know me. She didn't do any additional research on me. She just saw my name, saw my face, and came there. And then she said, "I feel like there is a black entity. There's a negative entity next to me all the time." And then I healed her. I listened to her. We went through healing session. Um, she went back. She was okay. She was fine. She felt good. Um, but then there was something heavy around me at that time. But because I was busy in my office work, and she just came in between, and I had to manage every other thing. Um, so I was busy over there, and in the afternoon, my daughter came in the room which I use in this room for my practices. So she came and she said, "Why this room is so cold?" And that made me click. Like, no, I am also feeling it. This is how you ignore your intuition. I ignored my intuition because I was feeling it, but I was in my head, so I ignored my intuition at that time. And when she said, it made me think like, no, this is something I was also feeling. So I asked her to immediately go out of this room and don't come until I tell you. Then I do my rituals. I cleanse that room. So yes, there are negative entities and they affect you negatively. So
So,
it's easy to, give a negative message in a positive way, but it gets difficult to handle these kind of, it comes your physically on you physically. To me, sleeping helps a lot. So my body healing process is sleeping. If I sleep, I will be okay. Like I can sleep for 2 days in a row after doing any heavy reading or this kind of mediumship. Um, Yes, generally, if someone practices meditation, those kind of things very regularly, it's manageable. So yeah.
So then, if those black entities and all those things, first, what is a black entity?
Dark entities is a negative energy. It's a negative energy around you. It can come in any form, like you say, nazar, evil eye, somebody, curse you. I don't want to frighten anyone, but yes, these things happen. Uh, but then we all have power inside ourselves to deal with it. So whosoever come to me, I always tell them that I can heal you now, and whenever you'll come to me, I'll heal you every time, but I will not be there forever. So you need to learn, yourself. And very simplest way to, do it is when you pray. First, praying should be practice, everyday practice. Whether you believe in God or not, praying should be a practice. If you don't believe in God, what are you going to pray? I don't know, maybe nature, maybe a tree, maybe soil, whatever you want to. But it because it brings you in the present. And whosoever you believe in, ask them to clear your energy and sustain the positive energy. In that way, you will kind of clear your negative energy every day.
Okay. 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 And then, as you mentioned, that when people come with dark energies, at times the dark energies also stays with you and in your space. So, how do you clean it and how do you make sure that you are protected?
So there are many different processes which I follow. Like I said, praying is one of them. So if I really like on that day when I felt it, when there was a physical, mostly it happens to me only. Okay, sometimes I easily heal myself with sleeping, like I said. Sometimes I just sit in meditative state and cleanse myself. Okay. Most of the time when I do mediumship, I take 2 to 3 minutes to come out of it. So I'll do mediumship and I'll ask the person to have patience, and I cleanse myself and come out of it. Basically, it's kind of getting detached from that energy. So the most of them they get detached very easily, unless some odd ones. For them, you can do normal, even the prayers like Hanuman Chalisa helps you, Durga Chalisa helps you. Um, then there are certain mantras which you can chant. Um, there are certain mantras which,
Like Gayatri Mantra, Mahamrityunjay Mantra.
yeah, I was about to say that there are certain mantras which you should not chant, very loud. It should
Okay.
be within you. So there is another thing. Probably I'm drifting from the topic, but it's important to know. The mantra which you speak loud, it affects you less.
Okay.
Okay. The mantra which you speak but you move your mouth, it affects you a bit more than speaking loudly. The mantra which is in there, which is not coming out of in any form, is the highest form of mantra that affects you the most.
Oh, okay.
Okay. And then, like I wanted to clean this room, so I opened all the windows. I used, you can use agarbatti, you can use sage, whatever you like. You can, if you don't have anything, if you have kapoor, you just burn kapoor and, move it around. Um, tulsi mostly if it's in Ganga Jal, then, spread it around. Basically, intention is important. So intention, mantra is important.
And that's why we call Tulsi holy basil. Yeah. And
Yeah.
also, I've heard research has been done, and Ganga Jal purifies, like if you keep a dead body inside Ganga Jal,
Yes.
it will never rot, even for many years. So it
Yeah.
has that purification, and even Western researchers, they are quite startled by this, but a lot of research have been already been done on Ganga Jal. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice
Ganga
to
Jal
know.
has got some scientific properties. because of which I don't remember the chemical's name. Now I've learned it when I was kid. Was very interested in that. So they have it has got some chemical composition. Because of that, it stays as a pure water. You know, if you put a glass of normal water and Ganga Jal, that will never smell, never rots.
Yes.
It will stay the way it is because of its chemical composition. Because I think the glacier it comes from, it's that.
So many thanks to share these tips with us, and hope whenever we need, the viewers can practice this at their home. I even practice the sage stick, the dried sage dowser, and we just light it and then do an
There is one important thing to do when you do all these things. Like I said, intention matters. So
yes.
if you have, fear in this, like, okay, um, let it go out of this house, let it go out of it, but there is a fear, I want to make it out of this house, out of this house, out of this house. Rather than this, let clean this house, let purity comes in this house. So this is not showing your fear, it is showing your trust. So having trust in the process is more important than doing the process.
Okay. Yeah. Yes. Yes. Intention is everything.
Yeah.
So, Divya, how has your psychic ability affected your personal life and relationships?
Relationship is I do not have many close relationship because of this, to be honest. So to me, it gets I read people very easily. So the intentions I know. So if you try to hide something, I'll come to know. So sometimes it makes me, you know, annoyed because of that.
Okay.
But then I let go because I trust that it's a human behavior. So let it go. How it's affecting my family life? So my kids, they believe in me. So like I, as a kid, I have seen all these things. So rather, I know one of them is going to be a better psychic than I am. One of my kid has got very, very strong psychic ability, which I can see now. So they welcome this idea. They are, even though we live in the UK, the culture is very different, but still they trust it. They believe in it. My husband is very supportive of it. He's one of the person who never believed in me, but he believes in me. That's why he believes in this. So yeah, I'm lucky to have a supporting family. It even with my in-laws, with my parents. Got Probably God has put me in this scenario so that I don't have to fight with them. I can directly work on the proper things rather than fighting with these negative things. It does affect my family life. Um because like I'm working also. So like for example, I wake up 4 in the morning.
Okay.
I do all the pujas and all the stuff, and then to have a social media presence, and there is a urge of saying something every morning. So I do make videos. So I randomly pick up the cards and make videos. So for even for 2 minutes video, you need to have half an hour of setup. So it takes some time. And then there's normal family life, taking care of kids, sending them to school, office. And then after office, I do reading. So reading goes, sometimes it goes like 4, 5 hours. So after 6 to 10, half past 10, 11, I can be busy. So on those days, I miss my time with my family. So, but it's okay as long as it's helping someone.
Okay. Now, what is intuition and the psychic abilities? You mentioned that all of us have the psychic. Are then the intuition and the psychic abilities same?
Um, how to explain it? It's more like your brain helps your body to move. Even when it's dark, your hand, when you eat food, it will go here. It will never go in your ear, right? just because your brain knows where your hand is and where your mouth is. Similarly, the psychic abilities are kind of analyzed by your intuition. You can say the intuition is the brain of all your abilities, psychic abilities.
And you mentioned that you wake up 4 in the morning. Can you please share the importance of waking up during the Brahma Muhurat? That is,
So, as per Shastra, those who wake up around 4 in the morning, they wake with the God, with the real energy, the cosmic energy. Okay, those who wake up after 5, they that's Dev Muhurat. They wake up with the Devdas. It's a good time to wake up, but obviously a bit less energetic. So, if you see as the sun is get more heated. The kind of radiation you need is the best in at 4 rather than at 5 or 6. And then there is a mana one, which is I think, if I'm not wrong, it's 7 onwards, um, which is a normal human, 6.5, 7, that kind of. And then there is Rakshas or whatever you want to say. But yeah, many people do these days. I don't want to be harsh on that. But yeah, avoid doing this. It's better to, take shower before 6 if you can.
and does that Brahma Muhurat, that 3 hours before sunrise, the Brahma Muhurat, does it has a certain kind of chemical reaction in the body or some effect on the body? Because it,
Like I said, the sun radiation, yes, it does. It
yes,
does. The planetary movement and all those stuff, yes, it does. Energetically, it's very positive time.
yeah.
Yeah.
And is it that whatever we do during Brahma Muhurat gives us 10 times more result, whether it be praying or meditation, than what we do maybe at Rakshas?
I wouldn't put it in that way. So, for example, if you wake up at 4 in the morning and do not do your morning routines, okay, and then start working. I work from home. I can do that. Is it going to make my work more productive? Probably, as per mind, yes, but it's going to give a negative effect on my body. So my body is there's a body cycle. Okay, you wake up, you relax, you do not go on a work job like this. You when you wake up, you are in a different state. You wake your body up gradually, and taking shower is part of one of it. And then having puja as a ritual, praying to the god as a ritual is a kind of having your own meditation time. Even the aarti and kirtan, that is also a part of one of these. It's good to have all these rituals before going to work or before starting your normal day, so that you can be yourself. Your body, soul, and mind aligns, and that's a process of aligning them.
How does rituals help? Because growing up in India, I see around me that rituals are extremely important for any positive thing. If I'm entering a new house, the Griha Pravesh, even during marriages, or so even a newborn child. So there are many rituals around. So what is the importance of ritual in a person's life?
So rituals are meant to there are many kind of rituals. They are meant to basically, if I put it in a scientific term, is more like it's meant to accept the situation, accept the scenario, accept the condition. Okay, so that when you are happy, you don't get so overexcited. So you start celebrating it with others in different form of, okay, you got house, you're sharing it with everyone else. So, and one of the reason to have a ritual is, in one of the Veda, it says that doing some kind of puja and yagya on the regular basis, especially for those people like you and me, who can actually afford it and can do it. They should be doing it regularly, not for themselves. These days we do it very wrong. We do it for ourselves. It's not for ourselves. It's for the earth. It's for your environment. You cleanse the environment with that yag you do, that the fire you do, the havan you do. It helps your environment. It helps your society. That's why we say you should be doing it with the people around you, not within you. So it has got every kind of positive effect. First, you are accepting the situation. If you are in sorrow, you are accepting it. Whatever rituals we do after losing someone, you are accepting. It's process of acceptance. If you are in excitement, you are accepting it and getting your excitement less, like getting less excited, because getting more excited is not good for anyone. Like you said, having a child. Having a child is a big thing for a house, whether you are grandparents, whether you are, parents, mother. So you need to accept the situation, and all those ritual makes you to accept it. It's a form of, bringing you back in the life and accepting what you have.
So you also mentioned about intentions. So does the rituals also help us in putting the right or positive intention for that
It's
thing?
it's it's both ways. So if you do rituals with the positive intention, it is always helpful in your life. If you do rituals with actually, I shouldn't use the word negative, but there are many different kind of intentions. As sometimes we do certain things because we want results.
Yes.
You will get slow result if you want result. When you will just do your work, this is Gita, which says, do your karma and leave rest on the God. God will do it, and it happens that way. I've seen it in my life. I do not expect anything, and I'm happy.
And
So intentions is a different
okay.
thing which affects the ritual in a different way.
And we should not do any ritual when we don't believe in, like, it's just because my mother
Yeah,
is pestering me
yeah.
or my
No, you
mother-in-law
shouldn't.
pushes me, but
You
jhamela hai
shouldn't.
mujhko to nahi karna hai, but I am forced to. So in
No,
that
no, no,
space, we should never be going in that space.
no. Never, never. You can ask these kind of question why they are asking you to do it. You can ask this kind of question: is it going to bring any benefit in my life? You can ask all these things and decide what you want to do further. It's not good to be, I don't believe in all this stuff. So people doing from many years are not silly. People like you and me are not silly, isn't it? So there is something. Probably you cannot connect with it, but you should know why you can't connect with it. It helps you to know yourself. And when you know yourself, you know life better, your life better.
And as you correctly said, that it contributes to the collective consciousness of the earth, like doing the havans, because I do agnihotra every day. So I know how it contributes, how it changed my life too. It's a cleansing process. Havan many times is a cleansing process for the, not only for the cell, but for the environment, for the
Mm.
consciousness of the earth as a whole. Yeah.
So that's why if you are doing like if you live in a flat, and if you have open area like balcony, it's better to do over there in an open place, so that it can actually help more people. Otherwise, once you're done havan, before it goes off completely, put it outside.
So I've seen it on the net that research has been done that in the nuclear disaster at Chernobyl and even in Japan, but people who were practicing Agnihotra at their home, they and their neighbors also, their neighboring, nothing was affected around them because it didn't affect the radiation, because the energy was very different around them and in their
Because
neighborhood.
air was cleansed.
Yes, air was cleansed. So yeah, such profound knowledge we have already. Thanks a lot, Divya, for your inputs and your profound knowledge. I learned many things, especially the cleaning of the environment and all. And one conclusion, one last thing from your side for the audience, or a conclusion remark, whatever suits to you.
Be yourself. Be yourself and really know who you are. That's important. You are not what your parents thinks you are. You are not what society makes you. You are who you are. Know yourself.
Many, many thanks, Divya, for taking your precious time out and coming to this podcast today. Many, many thanks.
Thank you very much.